Hey everyone, this is Misty. This is also take 2 of it's going to be my new podcast. Some of you might remember me as the Nagging Knitter. Actually, I'm currently still the Nagging Knitter. I'm also currently trying to get my my ID, my Ravelry username. I'm trying to get it changed to Adam Heart Knitter. I don't really care for the Nagging Knitter name much anymore. It's just, I think it kind of sends out a negative message about the nagging part. Yeah, it's kind of annoying me. Plus, every time I see nagging, I just think negatively about it. And I don't want that to be the first, what people associate me with when they first meet me on Ravelry or online or wherever. Because, I mean, I can be a little bit of a nag, but I'm not a nag. But who doesn't nag, right? Although I am really trying to not do that at all, just because I just think it's negative. And I'm trying to bring a lot of positive things into my life, so weeding out all the negative things, it's just going to take time getting there. Anyways, like I said, everyone probably knows me as the Nagging Knitter, which, again, I still am currently. Hopefully for not too much longer. I started out doing a podcast for a while, where it followed me as I was learning to knit, and the format is going to be a lot different on this podcast than it was on that one. Basically, there's not going to be any special effects, features, nothing on this one. It's just going to be me talking to the camera and no little, like, school bells and segments and all the other fabulous stuff. It's just too much time consuming, and I don't want to mess with it. But anyways, again, this podcast is also only going to be once a month instead of every week or every other week. It just, again, takes a lot of all the hassle of everything out. It gives me something to do once a month extra, but it doesn't cram so much stuff on top of me every week that I get overwhelmed by it, and then I get burned out by it, and then I just, yeah, it used to be no more, as did the last podcast. But I'm starting over, starting fresh, so yeah, hopefully it will be a lot better, and I'm crossing my fingers that I'll keep up with it. I'm thinking that I will be, because like I said, it's only going to be once a month, so if I can't keep up with it once a month, well then, I have no excuses. Okay, so, this is my second take of this today. The first one, I finished it. It was about 31 minutes long. I was going to, convert it and everything to load up tonight, but the audio on it messed up really bad, so I had to go in and change some settings and everything, and hopefully now the audio and everything on it is going to be better. Okay. So let's see. I'm looking down at my show notes right now. Again, the name of the last podcast was The Nagging Knitter. This one is going to be A Momentary Lapse of Knitting. Yeah. My husband is a huge Pink Floyd fan, and I am a Pink Floyd fan too, more so David Gilmour fan. I'm not as big of a fan as he is. But if there was a band out there that I would have to rate as being like the top band, it would be Pink Floyd. So, and that also kind of coincides with my new Ravelry name that I'm wanting. It's Adam Hart Knitter, which one of their albums is called Adam Hart Mother. And the title of the album came from a news article about a pregnant woman who had to have what they called an atomic heart pacemaker put in so she could live. Because it sounded, from what I could get of it, it sounded like she was pregnant and she wasn't going to survive, because I don't know what her heart complication was, but apparently she needed a pacemaker. So I have a pacemaker, so that's why I put the two of them together. So it's Adam Hart and then Knitter. So, and then A Momentary Lapse of Knitting, of course, is another, I think it's another album. It might be just a song. I think it's another album, though. My husband would probably be like, seriously, right now? And I'd be like, yeah, seriously. I pay attention, but I don't pay that much attention, you know? So. And I like the band, but I think they're an awesome band. I think they're an awesome band, but yeah. I'm one of those people who, I listen to the songs. I may not know all the names of all the songs, but I also don't know the names of the albums on which the songs come on. At least not all of them. I'm pretty good with The Wall, though. I mean, of course, it's The Wall, so I would probably get decapitated if I miss anything off of there. So, yeah. Okay, so, A Momentary Lapse of Knitting. Ooh. Which I had for about what, 4 weeks probably? Yeah. I got, let's see, I've been knitting on the Modern Log Cabin blanket, and I probably knit on it for, I think, maybe 6 weeks straight. I got burned out on it, which can easily happen to me because I have so many different crafts that I do, and I get burned out on them, so I move on to the next one. That's why I have so many. I have to keep myself occupied. But yeah, and I started working on my Hermione Everyday Sock, which is my first pair of socks, and I got like maybe 2 inches of the sock done, and then I stopped for like probably 3 or 4 weeks because I just got so burned out on knitting that I cannot get myself into knitting. I had no interest in it whatsoever. It just burned me out. So, and I was also, during that time, I have anxiety and stress that I cope with, so, that was kind of happening around the same time. Some more than what I normally have, and that played into it a little bit too. But anyways, here's my sock. This is what I have done of it first. I did join a knit along for it, which in hindsight, probably is not the best thing to do because it's about over and I'm not even finished with the first sock. Sorry, knit along group. I feel really bad because I even joined it after they had started the group, even though I think it started. No, I started knitting on it before they started the group, but I'd only been knitting on it for like a couple of days, and then I knit on it some more, and then I got totally burned out of knitting on it, and then I was just like, I don't know. But anyways, here's the heel. Flap. Yeah. And there's the heel turn. Right there. Hello. Yeah. Okay. It's not a sock puppet. It's just a sock. But anyway, I will have to say that after learning to knit my first sock ever, I really enjoyed knitting the flap and the turn and the gusset and all that. Oh yeah, forgot gusset. A lot more than I enjoyed knitting the leg of it. And more than what I'm enjoying knitting the foot of it. There's just no challenge there. Apparently, I'm one of those people that needs a challenge. I need it to be challenging for it to keep me interested. Maybe that was part of the reason too. Because seriously, I feel like that if it's not keeping my interest, then I don't know. It almost feels like, I don't want to say it's a waste of my time, but it almost kind of feels that way. So, but anyways, I can't wait to get these done. I'm also knitting it in the Seafoam colorway. That's by Yarn Loft by Alicia. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Alicia. I'm not sure. I did purchase it from her Etsy shop. When I purchased the yarn, she had it twisted up into hank, so I thought it was an ombre. You know, like an ombre, a gradient, ombre. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. At least the ones who know what ombres are. And I feel like I just like saying that word, ombre. You know, like, not andale, but ombre. It kind of feels that way. Okay. But anyway. Yeah, but after I purchased it and I started looking through some of her other projects, or some of the other projects that people had posted that they knitted with that yarn, I realized that they were variegated yarns. For whatever reason, though, it's knitting up as a stripe. It's striping in the sock. Although it did do some pulling or whatever. I think that's what you call it. Around the gusset area. But once I got into the foot part of it again, it started striping again. So I thought it was going to make for a very interesting knit, but which it still kind of is, with the color and how it pooled in the center, and now it's back on track again. So yeah. Okay. So that is my current work in progress. Like I said, I had hoped it had been an ombre colored yarn. It wasn't. So eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start learning to dye on my own, and I'm just going to dye my own ombre. I think that's probably the best way to go. So that will happen eventually. So it'll be something to share with y'all. Okay, FOs. Finished objects! Yay! I have none. Yeah. I can't hardly get through half the stuff that I have. Last time I finished something, I think, was probably back in November. Yeah. So, yeah, no UFOs. Now, UFOs. I have lots of those. I have a market bag that I'm still knitting. I started on that sometime last year. I think in like September, maybe August. I think September. It's not finished. I haven't even finished the base of it. Or not the base. The bag part of it. The mesh part. Not gotten to the handle. I just traded it in for something else to start knitting on. My first shawl that I started knitting on last July, I believe that it was. I got about 3/4 of the way done with it. I stopped. I had stitches that I'd added on one side. Don't know how I did it. I tinked back. And I tinked back. And I tinked back. Still couldn't find it. I think I tinked back all the way almost to about maybe 2/3 of the way back. To where now it looks like I only have like maybe 1/4 of it done. So I still haven't found my error. I don't know what I did. I just added a stitch somewhere without realizing that I did it. Because there should not be still more stitches on there than not that far back. No way. So it's going to get ripped out. So, and I'm just going to start all over. It will save a lot of time and a lot of brain energy. That's what I'm going to call it. Brain energy. So, whenever that happens, I'll let y'all know. Okay. Oh, I guess you could call this a work in progress. Spinning! So I initially had started spinning, it was I can't remember the name of it, but it's Sweet Georgia. It's 100% merino. I was spinning 2 different colors on here. I was spinning them together, the 2 different colors. It was balling up in the center into a ball. I didn't like the way that it looked. Because it wasn't all uniform and everything like this. And my spinning wasn't as even as it is now. Which I was being very I become very anal about it. It was driving me crazy just looking at it and seeing all how uneven and how I couldn't take it. I couldn't look at it anymore. So much so that I literally shoved it in a bag. I don't know what bag. I don't care what bag, because I don't want to look at it. But I'm not going to use it for knitting. Well, this I eventually will use for knitting. But what I took off of here previously, what was previously on here, I'm just going to use it, I think, to make some jewelry with, because I make jewelry. So I'll make it into something that I won't mind looking at. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to process what I'm talking about. Okay. So these podcasts, I'm wanting them to only be about 30 minutes long. I don't really want to go over that. There's no need for that unless, I just can't shut up, I guess. Well, anyway, so I have the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is it has a lot to do with what I normally do on a daily basis. I spend a lot of time by myself. I spend about 12 hours a day by myself during the week. While my husband is at work, a lot of my family, actually all of my family, they live out of state. And they live in separate states. Not just from me, from themselves, except for my parents and my sisters and my brother. They all live in Tennessee. We're not from Tennessee, but that's where they live. I live in Indiana. So, yeah, we're about 2.5 states away, if you want to call it 2.5. So, yeah, I'm by myself a lot. I do have a Stitch and Bitch group I go to on every Tuesday. I don't always make it to it, just depending on the weather, because we do live out in the country. Of course, now it's starting to warm up, so I'm able to get there. And then I do go to bingo every Monday, which I enjoy, especially when I win, because then it usually just goes towards whatever I'm crafting on. So, but anyways, I don't work, and I don't have any children. I've been married for 16 years. And I've explained this before on my previous podcast about my health condition that I have. That's why I don't work or have children. I was born with a severe heart condition. And I have a really bad habit of talking about it a lot. And mainly because I feel like I need to explain myself to people all the time, but also it comes up in conversation just because it has a tendency to just creep its way in there in conversation when people ask, well, do you do this, do you do that? And and then I feel like I have to explain why, and then I go into all of it, all the details about it. So I basically give them like my whole medical history in about 5 minutes. But and I actually get tired of doing that. I can't stand that I do that, but at the same time, it's like a really bad habit that I can't help. Although I am working on trying to break it, but obviously not at this moment because, hello, I'm talking about it. So, but because of my heart condition, I only have 3 functioning chambers. The 4th chamber, it didn't develop during gestation, so it doesn't function. They did try cutting it out at one point, but it started to cut into too much heart tissue, so they just left it. I have the 2 bottom vessels of my heart that are reversed. And then I have a pacemaker that I've had since I was 11. I had my first surgery at 9 months old, my second major open heart surgery at 11. I had open heart surgery 2 years ago to change my pacemaker from a pacemaker to an ICD because I was having tachycardia that was brought on by stress from losing one of my sisters 5 years ago, which I'm still trying to cope with, and that's where the stress and the anxiety that I have right now still comes into play. I am currently trying to get into therapy for it. Actually, I've been working on making myself go to therapy for probably the last 2 years. It's not really going all that well. Mainly just because I just won't go. I keep talking myself out of going. So, yeah. So because of my heart condition, I stay home a lot, and I'm by myself a lot, which again is another reason why I talk about myself so much, because it's the only person I have to talk about, or the only thing that I have to talk about. So, I do a lot of crafting. I do jewelry making, I do metalsmithing, I do lamp working, which is making glass beads. I fuse glass and copper together. I do the knitting. I do some very small cake decorating. I like it, but I'm not good at it. And I don't care, because it's edible, so I can just eat my mistakes away. Which is not always a good thing, because then, yeah, that causes other things that you can't necessarily just eat away. And then, what else do I do? There's a few other little things here and there that I do. Oh, soap making! I can't even believe I even forgot about that. I do soap making. I've not done the cold processing soap making. I only do the melt and pour right now because, well, it's not because I'm scared of working with lye, because I work with oxygen tank and propane, so I know it's not because of fear. It's just because I haven't gotten to there yet. So, and honestly, I would work with a propane tank and an oxygen tank before I'd work with lye, honestly. Probably. Just because I have worked with it. And I know the ins and outs of it. I don't know if you consider it a hobby. Some people might consider it a hobby. I recently started collecting. I'm a huge Joss Whedon fan, so I recently started collecting the comic series that he has of Buffy. Buffy Season 8, Buffy Season 9, Buffy Season 10. I haven't started collecting Angel of Faith, but that's on my list. I started collecting Serenity, which is actually supposed to be like the second season to Firefly. So, just like Season 8 of Buffy is Season 8 of Buffy from TV. So, and I collect all the variants and the covers and all that and everything. We went to our first Comic Con this year, which I was super excited about. And then the Indie PopCon is coming up, and Nick Brendan, who plays Xander, is going to be there. So I'm hoping to get a season 10 issue signed by him, because he and James Marsters, who plays Spike, are writers for the season 10 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I think that's really interesting. I can't wait to read those, but of course I got to get season 8, or I have to finish reading season 8, and then I'm currently searching down all of season 9. So yeah, it's going to be a little while before I can get all of season 9 collected, but I'm working on it. And then, okay, so to go into what I was saying about my heart condition, and then all the hobbies that I do and the time that I have and all that, I do my jewelry. I make my jewelry. I have sold it on Etsy. I don't run it as a business. It's a hobby for me. I enjoy it. I really enjoy making the jewelry. I know that if I wanted to, I could sell my jewelry and, for more than what it's worth, honestly. For the, some people do. I understand the whole craft industry and how people who do make a living out of it, how they do price their stuff, and some people do actually overprice their jewelry, which I think is ridiculous. I can understand pricing it because you're making a living at it, but then I don't understand people who overprice it so much just because they're a little bit greedy. Yeah. So that just is ridiculous to me. So, when I make my jewelry, like here's a piece right here that I make. When I make my jewelry, I do it because it's a passion for me. I love it. It's a creative outlet for me. It kind of is my therapy. Because I can definitely just go into my craft room and get away from everyone and everything and just work on it. So this is a pendant that I made of a leaf that I fold formed. It's made from copper wire. Not copper wire. That'd be a lot of copper. It's made of copper sheet metal that I fold formed. And I made it into a leaf. This is my first fold formed project. I'm actually pretty pleased with it. I also do some glass bead making. I don't currently have anything on me. But I do make some stitch markers as well, which I have a torch so I can fuse the copper and the glass together. Where I really love doing that. Here's a bracelet I make, which I love working with Swarovski crystals. They're one of my absolute favorite things to work with. So here's a bracelet that I made with some oops, I'm like backwards on here. There's like some labradorite chips on here, some Swarovski crystals is what the big one and the little ones around it are, and then some like peacock pearls. Potato pearls, yeah. And then there are like the little stud earrings that are in my ears. I made them. I can get just the individual studs from like one of my jewelry supply shop catalogs, and then I can fuse glass to them. So I make little studs, and then, like I said, I make stitch markers. So, and I make stitch markers using beads that I buy from the store, Swarovski crystals, and copper and glass that I fuse together, and then also some with just beads that I make. So, with all that being said, once a month, I'm going to start having a giveaway, because I just enjoy making all this stuff. It's just that much fun for me that I don't really wear the stuff that I make, the jewelry, like, not at all. Like, the only thing that I really do wear that I make are these little studs because they're simple and they're not flashy or anything like that. And it's really weird because I love making jewelry, but you won't catch me wearing it. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to do a giveaway every month. The giveaway will be posted once a month around the same time every month on Instagram. It will have all the details on it, what you need to do to enter the giveaway, and then somebody will be chosen at random through a random generator thingy, and then I will post whoever wins, and yeah, so I will make an announcement on Instagram about it, maybe even on here. When I'm going to give away the stitch markers I'm going to be giving away will be mystery stitch markers. You won't know what kind of stitch markers that you'll be getting. They could be an assortment. They could be all of the same thing. They could be... I already said assortment, so I can't say mixture. That's the same thing. But they will be a mystery. You won't know what you're getting. And I'm also going to give away, because again, I just like to, each mystery stitch set of mystery stitch markers will be getting a set of 5 stitch markers. Okay? And then along with the stitch markers, you will also receive a piece of jewelry. The jewelry will be a mystery as well. It could be a pair of earrings. It could be a fold-formed piece of jewelry like the leaf, like a pendant. It could be a ring. It could also be a Swarovski crystal bracelet, because I sell my Swarovski crystal bracelets for only like between $8 and $10 for a 7.5 inch bracelet. It's a mystery giveaway every month, once a month. So I'm really excited about it, and I look forward to the giveaway. And also, since Nick Brendan is going to be coming to the Indie PopCon, I haven't decided if I'm going to do the giveaways together or separate. I'm going to try and get him to sign an issue, a #1 issue of season 10, since he's one of the writers on it. And I'm going to give that away as well to someone. So again, like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to be separate giveaways or if they're going to be giveaways given away together. I haven't decided. They might be just giveaways that I put together just because. Or I could make it 2 giveaways that month. Just give away the normal giveaway with the earrings and the stitch markers. And I don't know. I'm thinking out loud now. So, and you don't want to hear that. So, okay. I'm sorry, I'm looking around to see if I've forgotten anything. Like, I've dropped something or something, but I haven't dropped anything. I think I'm done, though. I'm running over a little bit on time, which, it's okay. It's the first one. I don't plan on doing that every one, but it could happen. I think that's all. And sorry that I keep looking everywhere else except for the camera. Apparently, I just must be used to talking to myself out loud. So, obviously not used to talking and looking up. Obviously, if I was actually used to talking to myself, I would be looking at myself. So, I don't know. Yeah, okay, never mind. Alright. Okay. I think I'm done. I think that's all. Wait a minute, did I tell you what was the name of it? Yes, I did. Okay. I feel like I really scattered this podcast out. If any of you are able to make sense of it, well, I applaud you. because not too many people are able to make sense of me. Alrighty. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Happy knitting.